Live and let live. That was so yesterday. How so? There was a time when you could live that way. You were like, you do you and I'll do me, and we'll just kind of agree to disagree. You can't have that anymore, folks. This video is for all of you who believe that there's some semblance of that left. It's gone. I wish it were. I sadly, it's not the country that I grew up in. That country is lost. And I was looking at it and thinking about all the stages of grief, and one of the stages is denial. And I think there's a lot of Canadians who live in denial, a lot of people probably in the US who live that way too. They're that apathetic crowd who think, well, you know what, it's going to come back. We're bound to swing back to normal. Not on its own, folks. Unless you engage and say enough of this insanity, there's no normal. There's no coming back from it. There's a vocal amount of people now, while people think the pandemic was horrible, and I agree, the lockdowns were horrible. Yes, absolutely. I think in one way it's ignited a whole bunch of people, those who are now active, who can see the insanity. And the group there's a large contingent still who are kind of just going on with their day-to-day lives and ignoring all of it. And sometimes I get asked by people and say, well, why do people do that? And I would say primarily because they're comfortable. It hasn't really impacted them in any serious way. Until this hits home, until you can see that the live and let live philosophy is gone, you're not going to do anything about it. You're not going to be moved to change. People who are affected by the lockdowns realize there's no more live and let live, and they were directly impacted. Now we are seeing it with the transing of children, with the mutilating of children, all of this ideology. There are people who are facing it. And my message would be to all of you who are parents, who are still silent. Why? These are your children. And the people who want control of them, they're not interested in your worldview of tolerance. They're strictly about tolerance by their terms, defined by them. Your ideology, you wanting to protect your kids, you thinking it's abnormal to mutilate and decimate children is intolerant, is not acceptable for them. They believe that they are on the right path because these people have silly ideas. I was listening to that interview that Elon Musk did recently, and where he was with that BBC reporter, and he said there are many people who have silly ideas, or ideas that make no sense, and they espouse them. This is exactly what we're in. So realize that you're going to have to take a stand at some point. You cannot remain neutral. There is no neutrality anymore. There is no reasoning with insane people. There just isn't. As I said in a previous video before, those who want to be left alone will always, always be conquered and defeated by those who want to win. You are up against a force of people who want to win, and they want to win at all costs. There is no gentleman's rules. There is no thing that they're not willing to do. These people are true believers, and they're committed to the madness that they espouse, whether it be the climate change. And I don't call it climate change, it's anti-human. They believe anything, any human being is having an impact, and humanity should be wiped out. That's why they believe there should be no delineation between men and women. There should be no line. It should all be wiped out. They believe your children are their children to do with as they please, both mentally, psychologically, physically, in every which way, shape, or form. And unless you decide or finally wake up and realize it is a old-fashioned notion of live and let live, you're not going to be living in a world you're going to continue to recognize, because it's going to be transformed by those who want the power and want to dictate how you should be living your life. Anyway, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Please post any comments you have in the comment section. You can always follow me on my Rumble, my Locals account. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. I try to share different ideas, different thoughts, and of course, I welcome yours. Check out some of my past videos, and if you know somebody else who might enjoy watching this channel, please ask them to subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed, do so, and I'll see you next time.